What kind of catastrophe is this that forces humans to time travel begging for help from 30 years ago? At some unknown point, monsters called white spikes emerged on Earth. They bred wildly, feasting on humans. Their full body armor deflects bullet barges. Bone spikes shoot from their bodies. Humans stood no chance. Within a single year, Earth population plummeted from 7 billion to 500,000. As humanity faced extinction, they finally invented time travel technology. Our last hope. 2026 World Cup Finals Night. A wormhole rips open at midfield. Heavily armed soldiers emerge. They secure the stadium with military precision. Then a woman steps through. I come from 30 years in the future, where white spikes have overrun Earth. Without your help, humanity dies. Nations mobilize. Armies deploy through time to fight the white spikes. Each jump lasts just 7 days. Survival rate, 0.1%. Desperation forces, drafting civilians as last resort. Star-Lord gets conscripted. Soldiers pin him down, embedding tracker chip in his hand. You jump now. Remove it post-mission only. Desertion? Death. During Rookie Training Day 1, the jump signal hits. Energy arcs converge. A massive wormhole materializes directly overhead. It's a portal to 30 years in the future, echoing with anguished cries. Bodies dematerialize into gaseous form for transit. But something goes horribly wrong. Miscalibrated coordinates send them downtown instead of Miami Beach, landing them right in the city center. They rain down like hailstones, plummeting from thousands of meters to their deaths. 90% perish in this botched drop alone. By miraculous luck, Star-Lord crashes in, surviving the fall. Scanning through binoculars after climbing out, he sees white spikes slaughtering the last survivors. Only a dozen remain before the battle even starts. Suddenly, his comms crackle a lot. The commander warns, white spikes have overrun this city. Carpet bombing imminent. Rescue the science team before detonation. They reach the lab compound, only to find the researchers slaughtered by white spikes. Mission shifts. Secure all research data. Ambushed during stairwell retreat. A white spike impales a teammate with bone spikes from above. Star-Lord rallies return fire. Gunfire draws the entire horde. One scales the stair, hurling another soldier down the shaft. Casualties mount during retreat. Their armored hide, deflecting bullets. Star-Lord covers the retreat as rearguard. White spikes pursue relentlessly. As the last man moved to seal the door, a white spike slammed him against the wall and dragged him into the stairwell, turning him into prey. As the white spikes swarmed again, Star-Lord frantically fired his Gatling until it ran dry, switched to his pistol, and emptied that clip too. He grabbed a nearby axe and swung wildly at the creature. At the last second, Little Black rushed in, killing the white spike. This was his third time drop. Aim for necks or bellies. He shouted. They're signaling each other. Every white spike in the city converged on their position. The rescue convoy arrived, only to be ambushed instantly by white spikes flipping armored vehicles. Soldiers were devoured within minutes. Star-Lord rallied survivors for a final push, but the spikes were evolving after consuming soldiers. They flanked us in coordinated squads, using cars as cover. One spine hit meant instant death. Without fail, they perish instantly. Bombing runs incoming. Clocks ticking down. We retreated as bombs began falling. Explosions consumed some spikes, but more kept advancing. Fatty fell through a floor gap during retreat. Star-Lord rallied his squad for the rescue, only to see another comrade pierced by bone spikes. Knowing escape was impossible, they chose to hold their ground, to buy time for the others' escape. As white spikes swarmed their position, saturation bombing commenced, eradicating all white spikes in the vicinity. Star-Lord blacked out, awakening later, to finally meet the base commander. Their conversation revealed she was his daughter from 30 years future. They discovered male white spikes handle combat, all taking orders from females. Only female blood extraction could yield the lethal virus, humanity's sole hope. Meanwhile, at a frontline cave, troops discovered a female white spike. Soldiers struggled to drag her out with restraint cables, until the female burst free violently, slaughtering soldiers point blank. Within moments, half the squad fell. The commander's daughter joined the fray, observing. Restricting its tentacle mobility could enable capture. The creature retreated into its lair, dragging a soldier. As flamethrowers forced it against the wall, it charged out, taking a human hostage, while emitting a roaring distress call. The commander severed its tentacle with a precise shot. To prevent escape, she shield blocked the entrance while others secured restraints. Meanwhile, Male white spikes swarmed. Star-Lord rappelled down instantly. He blasted the white spikes point-blank with his machine gun in this critical moment. He impaled himself with the female white spike's bones. With everyone's combined effort, they finally secured it in the cage. The waiting helicopter immediately hoisted the cage skyward upon receiving the signal. A horde of white spikes descended from the mountaintop. They were shredded by the spinning rotor blades. Facing the endless swarm behind them, Star-Lord and the commander fled for their lives. They commandeered a Humvee. Star-Lord took the wheel, while the commander manned the roof-mounted Gatling gun, unleashing suppressive fire. The heavy firepower cleared their path, allowing their escape. Back to the offshore stronghold, humanity's last bastion. Their only hope lies with a time machine. Extracting blood from the captured female white spike, they developed a virus with 100% lethality. A nearby white spike witnessed everything. It unleashed a piercing distress call. Simultaneously, a massive disturbance erupted outside the base. White spikes from across the globe converged on the stronghold. They charged through the minefield in a suicidal onslaught. Strafing runs from fighters overhead proved futile against the endless horde. The efforts were a mere drop in the ocean. The commander ordered Star-Lord to take the virus back to his own time for mass production. Soldiers fought desperately within the base, buying precious time. The captured female shrieks intensified the male white spike's ferocious assault. They must hold out for 7 more minutes to activate the time machine. The female white spike broke free, now hunting them relentlessly. And Star-Lord fought his way. Just as they were about to reach the time machine, a bone spike pierced the commander. The helicopter above was surrounded by white spikes. They had to send Star-Lord's group to Tarmac 2 to wait. As they ran, a massive ship crashed into the base, triggering an explosion that brought down the helicopter. Seeing their grim situation, the commander handed the virus to Star-Lord, ordering him to return to the future and save their era. Just then, the female white spike found them, dragging the commander down by her leg. Star-Lord lunged to grab her. As teleportation initiation neared, fearing for Star-Lord's safety, the commander released. She fell with the white spike just as the time portal activated, transporting him back to the present. Now, severed from the future timeline, return travel became impossible. Though only 7 days had passed for Star-Lord, it felt like a lifetime. Analysis of the recovered white spike claw revealed embedded volcanic ash proof the creatures had long existed on Earth, trapped beneath Russian glaciers, until global warming freed them 3 decades later. But authorities dismissed their claims. So Star-Lord recruited his father to mass-produce the virus. Flying to the glacier, their scans detected an immense magnetic field below. Detonating charges exposed a colossal alien vessel. Star-Lord ordered his father and Xiaohe to stay outside. The others entered the spaceship's interior. An alien corpse was found in the cockpit, indicating they crashed on Earth after an impact. Deep inside the ship, countless dormant white spikes were discovered. They opened cases geared up with the virus and began injecting the incubation chambers. Minutes later, white spikes screamed in agony and died. But their death cries quickly roused their kin, who awoke and fled the ship. Everyone grabbed weapons, firing at the escaping white spikes. Father and Little Dark were ready. One fell to Father's sustained sniping. Another impaled on Little Dark's chainsaw. Meanwhile, all white spikes inside awakened. So they detonated the ship's bomb to save humanity, destroying themselves and the white spikes. Outside, Star-Lord learned from his father. A massive female white spike had escaped. They must find it fast to stop its breeding. Soon, Star-Lord tracked the female white spike, set a trap with a dummy mannequin, and shot in the head. But its resilience left it only wounded. Father kept sniping until critically, Star-Lord rammed it with an e-bike. Then father and son flanked it, firing relentlessly. It retreated, vanishing into the blizzard. It reappeared, slamming into them both. A bone spur pierced. In a life-or-death struggle, Star-Lord stabbed its eyes with a dagger. Dad took the opening and blinded its other eye too. Blinded, the white spike wildly fired bone spikes in all directions. Star-Lord seized the moment and injected the virus into its arm. As its body began to corrode, the white spike bit off its own arm to survive, then hunted for Star-Lord's scent. Dad stepped forward, slicing his palm with a dagger, ready to die together. Star-Lord couldn't bear to watch his father fall. With a roar, Star-Lord slashed the white spike's throat, grappled it close, and forced the virus into its maw. A final kick sent it crashing down the cliff, shattering into pieces. The threat to this era was over. But history's altered course brings the butterfly effect. Will this ripple into changes 30 years ahead? Could Star-Lord's daughter live again?